Mood boarding is a weird concept to understand as a designer. Well, it was for me at first anyway. Why is it that we have to do mood boards? Like, what is the purpose of them, and does it actually help? The answer to that is yes, of course they help. And if you're stuck for ideas, or if you're in a client project where you don't know the actual creative direction to go into, then mood boards will save your life, metaphorically. So first of all, what is a mood board? A mood board is kind of like a stylescape. It's a bunch of images on a whiteboard or a piece of paper or on Millernote where you can get the mood of a creative style. A mood board allows you to feel more than what you're seeing. So you're not taking ideas from other people per se, but you're actually taking a mood. Today, I'm going to be showing you how to really mood board, like the professional way, the way that we do it. And not only that, I'm going to be showing you a way to come up with new ideas for logo types to do with that mood board. And I call that like an ideascape, kind of like a brainstorming mind mapping session. So I'm going to walk through today exactly how I create a mood board and the process before I start really creating ideas. This is one of the most important processes after research. Okay, so the brief I got from goodbrief.io. It's a great resource for any designers learning logo design and needing a brief from a client that's kind of accurate. You can see I'm in Millernote here and I've put the brief there for you to have a look at. The company name is Flying Nickel, and this is what they are. We are a company that produces new ways to keep track of appointments by combining blockchain technology with an easy-to-use interface. Our main product is a device that you can use wherever you are and implements years of scientific discovery. Our target audience is adults. We want to convey a sense of wonder while at the same time being modern. They would prefer a word mark that uses the color gray. The logo will be printed on the side of vehicles. So the deliverables that I've written here is a logo type, brand assets, and mockups. If you're wondering what app this is the sponsor of today's video, but an app that I use in our creative agency. It's called Millernote. It's great from the concept stage all the way to the deliverable stage. You can actually just write the brief in there, and they've got loads of pre-made templates, which I'm about to show you. And it's free, so go ahead and click the link to check this brief out if you want to take part in our Reddit series. So the deliverables are a logo type, preferably, because they said they want the color gray, so it's important to get that in there. The brand assets, which is like, anything else to do with it, kind of like Instagram posts, the way that the website will look. And then mockups. It's important to always have mockups when doing a logo type design or a logo design. Before I go into the mood board, it is super important to do something that I call block wording. So I try and highlight any word that I think is important within the brief. That could be anything within the goals. That could be any sort of word that stands out that means a lot for this company. Something that will sort of reduce the ideas that I have. So for instance, in Millernote, I've gone ahead and highlighted appointments, blockchain technology, audience is adults, and modern. In the description, I highlighted wordmark in a different color, the color gray, and the logo will be printed on the side of vehicles. So these are all things that I need to keep in mind. It's really important to go through the brief and have it written down. Never get the brief straight from the client themselves, from their mouth, unless it is written and they have signed off on it. Of course, you can write it yourself and then get them to read it and say, yep, that's good. I'd always recommend getting them to do it themselves, collaborative with you. Okay, now that we have that, I'm going to create a couple more boards in the project file, and then I'm going to go ahead and choose the mood board template. This is a great template in Millernote, especially if you're doing this digitally, because in Millernote, you can actually send this to the client. And when you send this to the client, they can edit it, add comments, add things to it. And I use it with all my clients at this point. First thing I'm going to do to get images that are relevant to the mood board for me is type in some keywords like blockchain in the image uploader down at the bottom. This goes straight to Unsplash, so you can use all the images here, but you can also bring in other images that you like. So the images that I've picked out are actually things to do with blockchain. And I know it's not crypto, but it has a lot to do with it. It's the sort of way that people perceive blockchain right now with NFTs and cryptocurrency. I go ahead and basically just pick out any design or any sort of image that looks good. Now, the point that I'm going to make really clearly is that you should never really bring a logo into a mood board. It is designed to create a mood, not to create a logo idea for inspiration. It's designed to show you where the company's going in a certain feeling. So you can see I picked up the first one, which is this pink one. I love the 3D, and I'm going to show that by annotating it. And I'm going to just create all these little annotations around the mood board. This is really important so I actually get my ideas across of why I like something. Writing something down makes it so much easier to remember, and it really fixates you on what it is about that image that inspired the mood that you're getting from it. I really like the logo type there, so I'm going to highlight that and I'm going to create a note next to it. You can actually draw on these as well. It's kind of like a whiteboard, and we're starting to see something build up here. We're starting to see blocks and shapes and colors that are giving off a certain vibe. This is a mood board. The last thing I do is I go ahead and bring in some colors. The colors are hugely important within mood boarding. The great thing about Milanote is you can actually just double click on the colors and select it from the mood board and the images that you've seen, and it will give you the right color name automatically, such as medium purple, or wood smoke, or bright gray, or frolly. Now we have our mood board. This is not a large mood board. It is actually really simple to do. As you saw, I just dragged them in. Of course, you can just go ahead and just drag them in, screenshot it, drag it in, and then I can add an editor or add a client. So now we have our mood board. What's next? Well, for a logo designer, I've got one extra step. So instead of going straight into the idea scene, what I like to do is print off. Now you can do this in Milanote, or you can print it off. Most of the time, if I'm doing a lot of writing and lots of notes, I will print off this section. What I've done is I've picked up a bunch of logo types that I've seen online. Now, the specific reason behind this is not the icons, but the actual word mark. I want to see how fonts work, and I'm identifying which ones do work or do not work by annotating straight on the paper. For what's some on the top right, I like the fact that it's clean and it works in one color. So I'm going to write that down. I've got that in my head. I look towards the logo type Try It, and it looks a bit too friendly to me, and it looks a bit too aesthetic in movement. Doesn't really fit the vibe that we're going for. So I mark it and I try and annotate, and I get really messy, and I just keep drawing on top of these logos. It's really important to feel okay with using a pencil and just drawing on people's work. By the way, all of these logos and the work that we've created for these logos are linked down below in the description if you want to go check them out. Make sure you do. Code Creative, I go ahead and I say, yep, that font right there is just purely Poppins. I say it's quite wide, it's too playful. And you see, I'm remembering all of these right now, even though they are right here, but I can remember what I wrote down because I've written it down. It's the intentional aspect of really diving deep into the theory behind what you're creating, what the mood is. I'm trying to find a mood that works well within the brand. Is it appropriate? Does it fit the aesthetics of the industry that it's in? For instance, the Xenax logo, I say, yeah, it's really modern. I really like the blockchain look, but I hate the icon, so I'm just going to score that out. So although this is not really a mood board that I'm working on right now, this is like an idea board, an inspiration board. What I do is I put my work away after sketching some of the other ones out to sort of draw just like a little cross in them. I get my paper out and I start drawing ideas based upon the brief and the mood board and the ideascape. Now, one step I haven't shown you is one that I show on my Skillshare class, which you can go ahead and look down below in the description. You can go watch it for free if you sign up. There's a link down there. And that's the mind mapping, and that's using keywords and creating your own keywords for the brief. And what that really does, it allows you to search up images online, but also using words is really important to get the feeling across. For instance, within this brief, I created a very small mind map. I only spent a couple of minutes to show you. I had the big words like blockchain, and then I would go off and find different connections, you know, like has to be a logo type, crypto, Bitcoin, they're all connected, and I'll find different connections to the blockchain. I could have written NFTs. I could have written, you know, ideas for shapes. No one has to see this mind map. It's just for you to create different connections. Like for instance, blockchain, could it be a physical chain? Could it be a chain of stores? Could it be anything? It could be anything. Could it be chaining like in music where you side chain? All these different connections are made. So I'm drawing my ideas, and these ideas are just sketches. I'm spending like 2 seconds on them. And the point of this video isn't to show you the whole process. of me creating a logo is to show you how to get started and where to gain inspiration. Motivation and inspiration comes from doing. It's not about just waiting to find it. To gain real inspiration and the motivation to do the work, it's about researching and about going ahead in a right way. Following these steps of creating a mood board with the right vibes in there with your client or with your team members, going ahead, annotating it, getting really messy, print off some ideascapes for certain design elements like fonts or logo types or compositions or colors, print them off and really start to get down to business and color it in. Wreck this paper. This is for you to wreck and reuse because we recycle. Now that you've done all of that, you will be motivated and inspired. Ideas will be popping out at you from each and every area. It's really interesting how that works. Again, I just want to thank Milanote for sponsoring this video and making it happen. Honestly, it's free. Go ahead and try it out. You can do so many things inside it. I've got a link down below for you to go and get it, but also for you to see this brief that I've put online that we're going to be doing on our Reddit series where you can have a chance to win a prize. We're not too sure what the prize is yet, but we'll work it out. If you did enjoy this video, please remember to press that red subscribe button down below, ding the bell as well so you know every time I'm uploading a video. See you in the next video. Goodbye.